The books consist of some of the classics. The books consist of Hispanic books. In other words, the books are in Spanish, in the Spanish language, along with other classic books which are in English. So whether the child is English or Spanish, the child would be able to read, some of the books. In addition to having classics, in addition to having, dual language, two different languages represented in the collection, another high point of the collection is that the books have special books within the collection. For example, there's a book on 1776, and of course right now it slips my mind, but what I know about the book, and also there's a book on Paul Revere. Wow, what wonderful books. These books are wonderful because they actually have replicas of primary documents located in the individual books. And therefore, on the middle school level, because I am on the middle school level, for example, these primary documents are an excellent way to bridge the education of students who may be low income or underrepresented minorities, to bridge their education to college. So on the middle school level, today actually I was teaching middle school students about using primary documents to do a better report, to do a report in history or a historical report, but also to do more informed research by seeking out primary documents as opposed to using a textbook, which normally takes about at least 10 years to have the book written. So in other words, the book is about 10 years old when it comes to the publisher or it's published. The students, of course, found it very, very exciting to use the primary documents. I am so happy and delighted to say that the middle school where I teach at, Kenmore Middle School, actually does have both of these awards in place. With the permission of my principal, Mrs. Maha Fudley, I was able to apply for a Picturing America Award on behalf of our students. I was also successful in getting the We the People Bookshelf Award for our school and for our students. So I am absolutely delighted with both collections, the Picturing America posters and the We the People Bookshelf. We have in our possession, and I spoke about this on a prior educational moment segment, so I won't go into detail today, but the authoritative book on democracy in America by Tocqueville we have in our possession at our school. So not only do we have access to replicas of primary documents, we have multilingual books, we have some of the classics, we have books that talk about American history and the culture of America, but we also have some authoritative books, such as the book on democracy in America. In addition to these books, I will share a couple of books from the collection tonight with the television audience. So we have a wonderful opportunity to help our students. Students at the school where I work many are underrepresented minorities, as well as we have over 50% free and reduced lunch. So it's a great opportunity to have such regal resources at our school. The next slide that I want to show you is from Excitement. Excitement is a website affiliated with the National Endowment for Humanities. So on this website, you can find access to various resources, and also there is a new communication that's being developed in Thinktivity or something of that nature. Of course, I can't see the slide from here, but it's very, very new. And you may want to go to the website and see if you would like to join this community. It's geared toward parents, teachers, and individuals who want to share their ideas on education. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Again, the website is entitled Edcitement. Next, we will go to a slide on a special book from the collection, Our White House, Looking In, Looking Out. It has an introduction by David McCullough, but the stories and illustrations are from many renowned artists and illustrators. I will read a small section from the book entitled The White House Cow. It's by Richard Peck and is illustrated by Barry Root. In the besieged 21st century, every public building is an armed camp, and every invited White House guest needs a security clearance. But it wasn't always so. The White House rose as the city of Washington was still carving itself out of swamp and slough. It stood without a fence in a town more blueprint than brick. Even in the 1840s, the White House stood open to its neighborhood, according to one of the few anecdotes from the William Henry Harrison administration. Harrison lore is scant because the old soldier, parenthesis, he was 68, lived only a month and a day of his presidency. His most famous role was as principal figure in the first White House funeral, lying in magnificent state in the East Room. Still, a story of the living man survives. As a soldier, Harrison knew the value of victualizing and noted the absence of a good milk cow on the premises. He went off on foot one market day and found a promising cow. But when the farmer heard where it was to be delivered, he thought he smelled a rat. Still, the buyer led the seller, and the seller led the cow back to the White House. The president asked the farmer inside and even invited him to stay to breakfast. By now, the farmer, gravely skeptical, asked who his host might be, wondering if he wasn't being a little too free in his use of a house set aside for old Granny Harrison. The people called me William Henry Harrison and had made me the President of the United States. The president is said to have replied with quite dignity, "Lord Almighty!" exclamation point. The terrorized farmer yelled, plunging out of the room and the house and making tracks. The still open country passed any number of security checkpoints, yet unbuilt. And it has a lovely picture of the cow and the farmer and the president going up the walkway to the White House. I thought this was a lovely story. I'm sure that if you read this book, you'll find many more interesting stories.